Welcome to Getting Sports with Drunk. I'm your hostess, Cupcake the Riddler, and I'm joined by
Mock.
Sheen Washable.
Nope.
Gilberto Souls.
J-Mark.
And the Red Baron.
Welcome to one of our last... this is our last show that's going to be airing on PPRN that's not live.
We got one more, I believe.
No, this is the last one.
Oh, it is. It is.
This is the last one. Last one that's not going to be on PPRN before we go live.
Last pre-recorded.
It threw you off because February is a short month. Bastard month.
That's true.
It's a bastard month. But for those of you that have listened non-live, listen live.
Get ready.
Get ready for debauchery of the highest form.
With a video.
Yeah. Starting lineups. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. At point guard, weighing in at 12 ounces from Branford, Connecticut.
The Cranky IPA from Stony Creek.
Should do the Bulls song with this going on.
Oh. At shooting guard, weighing in at 12 ounces from Stratford, Connecticut.
Two roads, little heaven.
Everyone knows I'm the shooting guard.
From Undecided.
Weighing in at 12 fluid ounces from Woodbridge, Connecticut.
Imperial Stout Trooper.
Wow. At power forward, weighing in at 12 ounces from Oxford, Connecticut. Java Pig Stout.
What a team.
No, it's Wolcott, Connecticut.
It's Oxford.
And, yeah, we'll get there. And your starting center, the biggest heartburn giver in all of Connecticut, weighing in a whopping 16 fluid ounces from Stratford, Connecticut.
You taking it or no? You spun the bottle. You spun it around.
It's a can.
And looked at me.
It's your can.
2 Rhodes Persian Lime. So we're going to work on this before the live stuff.
Yeah.
Let me just show you what he did.
I was
He
just
goes-
reading it.
he goes,
I was reading it. Why would I have
nods
to read
at me.
it? Everyone else read their own can.
So in case you're just really f***ing confused, like all of us, Mock Sheen Washable drinking Cranky IPA from Stony Creek.
Yes.
Jeff and J-Mar and Gilberto Souls have 2 Rhodes, Little Heaven and Persian
It's
Lime.
one of many names.
The Red Baron is drinking Imperial Stout Trooper from New England Brewing Company, and I have the Java Pig Stout Coffee Bacon Breakfast Stout
Everybody here is local.
from Shabin. Well, it's a Connecticut-themed show,
Yeah.
as put together by the Red Baron.
Yeah.
Toast of Excellence. Nobody did their homework.
I did.
I got one.
No, all right.
I'd like to go first if that's okay.
Bet you Gilberto doesn't have one.
I had one.
My toast of excellence goes to the Charlotte Hornets for firing their general manager, Richard Scho, because that's a very sad team right now, and they need some direction.
All right.
You're going to see him live soon.
That's right. So, Charlotte, if you're listening, I'm coming for you, baby.
My toast of excellence is to Ryan Suckup. Signed a pretty big deal for a kicker. What do you get? 5 years, like
$20 million.
$20 million.
Fourth highest paid kicker.
It's actually 4 years, I believe. And $5 million.
Either way, that's a lot of money for a kicker.
Fourth highest paid kicker ever. And he's not even that good.
Good for him.
Now, Souls, I have a disdain for him, as do you. But give the guy some credit for getting the money.
Just the Titans are just terrible at spending their money.
No, be that as it may.
Souls?
Paul.
Souls.
Paul.
Jeff?
Mine's going to go out to Fergie for a phenomenal performance. Of
I knew someone was going to say it.
No, you're very crass, aren't you, Martin?
Souls?
Paul.
No, Souls, go.
Paul.
Come on. Just say something.
Well, my toast of excellence goes out to the Tampa Bay Rays fans. I'm sorry that your front office sucks.
Wow.
I don't know if that's considered like a toast.
No.
Like,
No, you just shit on.
here's a
Tampa
toast
Bay
to
fans.
sucking?
Yep.
I mean,
So they're gonna be bad for a while.
Sounds like some private stock.
Number
Yeah.
one draft pick.
You don't know if they're going to suck, though.
Oh, they are.
But baseball's a romantic sport.
Tampa Bay is just bad, man. They cut their best player to get CJ Cron. That's good enough to know they're gonna suck.
Bad enough.
Just whatever at this point.
My toast of excellence is long overdue, but mine is to Brian Urlacher for being elected into the Hall of Fame. Chicago Bear, great and very biased.
oh,
Hall of Fame game! Hall of Fame game! The Bears are chasing, I think it's the Eagles?
Redskins.
Redskins to be the 4-0, right? Or 5-0? 5-0.
5-0, I think.
So, it's one of them. Well, toast of excellence to those those fine individuals, fans, all that.
Yeah.
This is very salty. So I have my private stock to do. I lost last week's private stock shot trivia. Got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Since this is a Connecticut themed show and we talk about sports sometimes, and one of us has a gray penis.
Souls.
Something else. How many current professional sports teams reside in Connecticut? Mock, you have to go first by rules.
4.
7.
2.
Oh, I was going to say 2.
Oh, well, you did.
Well, by default, 11.
So just to clarify, by professional, like, I mean, obviously none of them are like NHL or whatever.
Yeah.
Correct answer and loser, Jeff Martin. Correct answer was 10.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops.
They have the Yard Goats, the Bridgeport Bluefish, the Connecticut Tigers, the New Britain Bees, the Connecticut Sun, the Bridgeport Sound Tigers, the Hartford Wolfpack, the Connecticut Whale, the New England Black Wolves, and the Connecticut Wildcats.
What the hell are the Black Wolves?
They are a lacrosse team
Yeah.
that plays from Mohegan Sound.
Oh, no.
Are the Wolfpack and the Whale separate?
Yeah.
Aren't they the same?
The Whale is women's hockey.
Is it?
Yeah.
Since when?
It's a part of the national affiliate.
Well, I remember it was the Wolfpack, then they changed to the Whale, then they went back to the Wolfpack. I didn't know they were separate. I didn't know that.
Like a one-man wolf pack.
Just saying.
You can do a show reciting just like Galifianakis lines from the Hangover trilogy.
This is a lacrosse team in Connecticut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Mohegan Sun.
Actually, a girl that Red Baron and I went to school with is a sports medical science person for them, like a trainer. Should go ahead and take the shot for that.
Sports medical science. I liked it.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, it's kind of all. It's science.
Imagine putting that
Medicine.
on a business card.
I am Mr. Sports Medical Science.
All right, so there we go. It's been a real rough start to our show.
Yeah.
If you haven't,
If you're still listening.
We're a second half team.
yeah, that's why it'll be so much better when we have 2 hours to do this. So the first hour sucks, and then the second hour we're really going to captivate you. So, Red Baron, Mir, this is your show.
So I was really excited about doing this Connecticut themed show.
The show's going to suck.
One of us at the table was not excited about it, and he's sitting across from me, Mr. Man of Many Names. And I don't know why. I don't know why he's not a fan. He had a predetermined notion that the show is just going to suck.
It's because Kyle is having both awake and nighttime emissions of baseball season coming up. So he just wants to talk only
losing Philly season, too.
baseball. That's all he wants to talk
All right.
for the next 6 to 7 months.
I just thought this would be a lot of fun. And Kyle, now I'd like to punish you. So, Kyle, do you know what Connecticut's song is?
Excuse me?
So every state has a song.
No,
And
I don't
so-
care enough.
Well, you should. It's your state. You know,
Do you know it?
I do.
If
Actually,
you didn't
everyone,
look at it,
everyone at this table knows the song. And Kyle, you're going to sing the song for us to start the show.
I don't know the song.
You do. Kyle, you familiar with Yankee Doodle?
I'm not singing that.
Yes, you are.
Come on, Kyle. Just give the listeners what they want.
Yankee Doodle went to town.
Oh my
It's an
God.
opera song. It's like Yankee Doodle.
Went to town riding on a pony, stuck a feather in his head and called it macaron.
The show got much better the last few seconds.
Yeah. I know Kendall's gonna be really pissed when he
Did I
goes back
sing it
and,
right?
and edits
Yeah.
this
Oh.
for the last
Did I-
time
did
to
I
just
miss
smash
something
my
else?
hands on the table.
No, I think you got the lyrics mostly right. This actually like verses to it, but I don't know it.
I just know like that.
I'm surprised you.
There's
got
the
that
the
much.
non-perfect version or the non-official version too, where it's Yankee Doodle went to town on a radiator, turned it up to 98, and burnt his little wiener.
You know, Kendall kind of threw us on the spot. He was like, everybody else knows this song. And I was like, I don't know if I do. I
I knew
think
the
it's
song.
Yankee Doodle.
Well, it's like you know it without knowing it, you know. But
I knew the song. I didn't know it was
No,
a
now
state
you
song.
know.
that's right.
Player.
Yankee
I don't have the
Doodle
right-
went to
You know our
town,
state
riding
bird,
on a
Kyle?
pony, Like a feather in his head and called him Mac. Now it's going to be stuck in my head for the rest of the night. So
You know our
yeah.
state bird?
Pigeon?
Swallow.
Pigeon. No, it's not the pigeon.
It's the swallow.
Well, Kyle, I hope you enjoyed seeing it.
I'll say
And
it
thank
again.
you all for listening tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about our favorite player, athlete from Connecticut, or who we feel is the best, and we're gonna battle it out. So, Souls, we'll lead off with you since you have so much disdain.
Well, the best player from Connecticut?
And all right, who do you think is the best player from Connecticut?
Google it.
Steve Young.
First.
Steve Young. Okay. Now, why do you feel that way?
Well, one, he's a 3-time Super Bowl champion.
Is he actually from Connecticut?
He went to high school in Connecticut.
He was born in Utah,
So
but
he
resides in Connecticut.
from Connecticut. All right.
Got to get at those stats quickly.
He's a 7-time Pro Bowler,
In Connecticut.
2-time MVP, 5th all-time in passing, and I believe he had like almost a perfect rating in the Super.
Okay, so he's a 3-time Super Bowl champion. How many of those did he play in?
Wasn't it 2?
He played in 1. He started 1. In that game, yes, he threw for 6 touchdowns, I believe. Yes, he threw 6 touchdowns because he beat Doug Williams out. And he had a great day. The 49ers won 49 to like 26. 49-26 was like the final of that Super Bowl.
Did you know it?
You have the stats.
Kyle, you know what's happening to you, though?
It's just that he won 3. Didn't
You
say
like
when
to
he
do
played-
this to us. You like to try
Okay.
and stump us.
Okay, no problem, guys.
Well, I'm right.
No, it's okay.
So here's the point. You think that's the best player? Okay, so I'm going to counter the argument. So
And
yes,
he's a Hall of Famer.
he's a Hall of Famer. Yes, yes.
But is he remembered for Connecticut?
Aaron Hernandez.
Oh my.
There you go.
People remember him. No one even knew he was in any part of Connecticut.
Well, now it's a lesson taught.
It sure is.
I love you, Kyle.
Well, give me more
And he's a
examples.
4-time NFL passing touchdown leader.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
2-time NFC Offensive Player of the Year. 6-time NFL Passer Rating Leader of the Year.
Keep scrolling.
Yeah, I am. And he won the Davey O'Brien Award in college. Which
What
is
is
Yes!
that? What is that?
Yes!
The best quarterback.
at BYU.
So not the University of Connecticut.
Who cares about the University of Connecticut? They never had a team.
Can we just segue into Kendall's favorite player that's come from Connecticut? Bucky Jones.
Yeah, I was reading through a couple players today. I was very displeased to find out he's from New Britain, I believe.
A lot of players from New Britain.
Part of that like 2001 to 04 Patriots defense. Ugh. He almost had a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Did you hate Aaron Hernandez?
Well, I did because he was a Patriot, but I mean, you know, it's like all things considered now, it's kind of like, what can I say? He's a bad guy.
He wasn't really a good dude.
Well, Pat, our buddy Pat has a picture with Aaron.
Yeah, he
Hernandez.
met him in an airport. Survived it.
You got to hang out with him.
Ooh.
It's a picture to save.
I think it was it J-Bar in
Oh,
past you
my.
you put a comment up a couple of lady killers right here.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty poor taste. I loved it.
Well, I don't know if it's confirmed he ever killed a woman, so.
Well, true. We don't know.
Sure he did.
Pat might have.
Who?
Did you just
Pat?
snitch on
Well,
Pat?
Pat, if you're listening or not listening,
Yeah.
we're neutral here. It's your business.
No judgment zone.
All right. So you think Steve Young is the
Steve
best
Young.
out of CT? All right, Mark. Who's your guy?
If I'm thinking best, I mean the 3 names that I pulled up, I'd probably say Jeff Bagwell. Born in Killingsworth, played 15 seasons all in Houston. Kendall likes that a lot.
Not true, but okay.
That's what it said online.
He
Kyle.
started off in Boston.
Oh, my God.
If I had to do it, you have to do it.
I think it said Houston. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Rookie of the Year, 91, 94 MVP, career just under 300 batting average. 449 home runs, 4-time All-Star.
Like how waiting to pounce on any mistake
I know.
possible.
He was. Long career, great career, Hall of Fame.
Great batting stance, too.
Jeff Bagwell.
Jeff Bagwell. So that's your number one guy out of Connecticut.
That's who I'm going with.
All right, but you said you had others. I know you
Well-
just closed your app there.
Well,
but-
no, I had a couple other names. I don't know.
All right. Well, then
if
hold
anyone
on.
else
All right,
has
well,
them.
that's a good idea. We'll hold off. We'll see if anyone matches up. J Mark, do you have somebody in mind?
Well, myself.
Oh, wow. The big round of applause for
Oh,
Jeff Martin.
One-time boys cross-country state champion.
I can attest to that. I can attest to that. Jeff Martin there, he was actually, for a period of time, he was the #1 cross-country runner in the state.
Greatest of all time.
Weren't you also like top 5% in like Need for Speed racing as well?
That's also right. There was a time where I held the top crown in Need for Speed.
Aren't you also top 1% in our friend group for children birthed?
That's correct.
You're really racking up the stats.
That's right.
So he might be the best athlete of all time.
Yeah, in fact,
Best
we're
swimmer.
we're filming.
Well, no, Cole's the best swimmer.
Well, true.
ESPN does a 30 for 30. It's one of the things. We're actually filming one on J-Mart, and it's about his time as a runner. And it's
And
called
how Monster Energy Drink ruined everything.
It's called Going the Distance, the Jeff Martin story. And the tagline is, the only thing he couldn't outrun was the expectations.
That's right.
And it's a tragedy, but a great story.
That's so deep.
So I'm going to go with Kemba Walker.
Kemba Walker.
Kemba Walker. Just because when I think of Connecticut sports, I think of the championship. I think of just his step back shot that he drained. It's just such a memorable thing for Connecticut.
That was over Florida, right? In the championship, I'm pretty sure.
I don't want to say yes or no. I think Kyle will correct.
I think it was because I think the Red Baron Muir and I were watching that game at school together.
I remember watching it.
I'm pretty sure it was Florida because I was pretty pissed.
Yeah, I think I recall that.
I mean, Connecticut's had a ton of good teams, both men's and women's, but just Kemba Walker, man.
Well, you think it too, a lot of guys who leave UConn, either they have a great career professionally or they kind of like.
Ray Allen.
Yeah.
Wait.
Or did they hear Shim to beat it?
Yeah, there's been some tank artists.
So, I mean, though, Kemba is still.
Shabazz.
Just for our generation,
Okay.
Kemba, I feel.
And how many years he's been pro now? Anybody know off the top of their head?
Maybe, 8?
7.
7?
Who?
Kemba Walker. Oh, 2011, I think.
He's
they
like
won the title.
27, 28 now? Maybe.
Wow, I can't even believe it's been that long.
Maybe not. No, yeah, 27, 28 probably. Look it up.
The first year, because I watched it, I lived in the same building my sophomore and junior year at Eastern. And so I watched the game in that apartment. So the year that they won the championship had to have been at the earliest 2013.
He started in 2011. He got drafted in 2011. Shabazz won a couple years later.
Yeah.
Shabazz was the one who hit the game winner over.
Well, then I know they won a.
All right, we get it. Stop making it personal. We get it.
I'm just explaining.
No. Just give me the private stock. That's what this is gearing towards. Just whip out your dick. Show everybody.
But Kemba, in the 7 or 8 years, whatever it's been, he's had a fairly successful professional career.
All-star.
right?
There's an all-star this year.
So, I mean, I think it deems him to be a great player
And
out of
that
Connecticut.
play, the step back, that's pretty much been his go-to for his whole life. Even in the NBA, it's been effective.
His boys with Jordan.
That's right. We're actually going to see him.
Yeah, we're going to see him.
Yeah.
March 19th.
Unless he,
The
has
process-
a rest day against the Sixers.
The process takes on the Hornets.
Souls was nice enough to buy us tickets to that.
You guys are all welcome.
We said thank you.
Just thank you.
One
We
person
thanked you on
didn't.
the air.
Thank you, Kyle.
And you're buying us French fries, is that right?
I don't know if they have crab fries there.
Probably not.
They do.
Good.
I'm excited for an actual Philly cheesesteak.
We're getting Primatini Brothers.
No.
All right, Red Baron Muir.
Kendall ruined that.
Yeah, I talked up a sandwich at Pittsburgh.
It was
that you had
horrible.
never had.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
I'm very disappointed about it myself.
The restaurant is supposedly much better than like the actual place inside.
And that was right next door to the hotel we were at.
Yeah,
We're all big coleslaw fans, too. So that really made the sandwich.
I'm a big coleslaw fan.
That was
Baron?
the worst sandwich I ever
Red
had.
Baron Muir.
Now, let me tell you who the greatest Connecticut athlete of all time is. You may know his name. He goes by the name of Bill Romanowski, one of the toughest linebackers to ever play in the NFL.
Erwin Meslin?
No, not Erwin Melson, who did play football at UConn. Erwin Meslin is my longtime dentist and orthodontist. Born in Rockville, Connecticut. I couldn't tell you where that is on a map. But he went to Vernon High School. I'm looking up my phone here. But I picked him for a couple of reasons. He's a 4-time Super Bowl champion on 2 squads. 2 squads. Started all the Super Bowls, might I add. I won it with the Broncos and the 49ers. His stats are pretty good. 1,000-plus tackles, 39.5 sacks. Decent for a linebacker, I guess. The The only thing that you can kind of fault him is that he's kind of had,
On his acting career?
well, acting, but as a player, he was kind of dirty. He has multiple incidents of kicking players in the head and saying perhaps some racial stuff.
That's the kind of grit that Connecticut brings.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like you said, it's a tough Connecticut. We're tough, with a
Except for Greenwich.
except for Greenwich. Well, Greenwich, we love you. Connecticut,
Sorry,
we're
Greenwich. I'm just jealous.
but Bill Romanowski, greatest player from Connecticut. Riddler.
So this is the greatest player, greatest athlete, right? We're doing
Udonis Haslam?
How'd you know? That's right, Udonis Haslam from Fairfield. So I had someone in mind, but when Kyle led off, I was under the impression we were going to do people that were birthed in Connecticut. So we can do people that reside in Connecticut?
Yeah.
Okay. So then mine, I think the argument is made, hardware more so than anybody else that's been named at this table has...
Do you know how many trophies I won running? The medals I acquired in my career?
This guy has 16 World Heavyweight Championships. Won 2 Royal Rumbles, was a King of the Ring, was the 7th Triple Crown champion and the 2nd Grand Slam champion. 5-time Intercontinental title holder, and the biggest schnoz in the business. Paul Levesque, better known as Triple H. I win.
This was
We
not
said
staged.
athletes. It was specified athletes. I want that to be known.
Just wait. When Rebecca goes back to edit this, she's going to be so mad.
Oh. She's usually here a lot of times when we record this. I'm glad she's not.
Let's talk about wrestling for a while.
Let's just show a whole show on wrestling. Well, we'll have to put up who we think, and actually, we'll put J-Mart on the page too, and you can vote for who you think the best Connecticut
Get
athlete
a nice
is.
baby face picture of Jeff.
Yeah, but there's some good ones out there.
There's some good ones. There's probably one to be on my back, looking up, holding my ankle, somewhere in the sheen turf.
So we'll put that up. You guys could vote.
Back in the day, he went as Hot Fudge.
Hot fudge, right? You still got some merchandise that says that, I believe. All right, so let's keep it rolling. Who do you think, or what do you think, is the best sports franchise out of Connecticut? Souls, would you like to lead off? No?
I'll lead. I personally think all time
All time.
Hartford Whalers, because
All
it's
right.
the only major sports team that Connecticut's had, and they were very popular.
They're still very
I know, I was going to say, I mean, almost everyone has a Whalers hat or shirt.
Does the Yukon women count?
Yeah.
That's
Why not?
that's the biggest thing we got going for us now.
I say the
Those
Hartford
girls
Whalers.
can
We've never had WNBA, but that's the only professional team that Connecticut's had.
Bless you.
Right there, that was the WNBA smiting you.
But I don't know.
Right on the microphone.
There's a couple other I like the Bridgeport Sound Tigers a lot. The New Haven Ravens.
That's my
New
best
Haven
team.
Ravens.
I actually have some stats up
What
on
about
them.
the Norwich Navigators?
Yeah, Norwich. I have a Norwich Navigators hat.
I had a birthday party there and
Me
got to
too.
stand on the dugout.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they called me Mickey.
The Rockets.
Hey, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my
Mickey
mind.
Mouse.
Hey, Mickey.
Speaking of the New Haven Ravens, I remember I was at a game sitting in the bleachers, and the girl in front of me took a foul ball to the mouth.
Ouch.
Really funny.
We gotta implement netting.
I tell you, if it didn't hit her, it was going to be a beanbag shot to me. So,
Send her a postcard.
So
Thank you.
The Ravens
you're
are actually,
listening.
the Ravens are actually my best team out of Connecticut.
they were horrible.
Whoa! Let me just read you something here. From 1994 to 2003, they were 1-2 in the championship for the Eastern Division.
Nice.
And on a personal note, I've been to many Ravens games, and I didn't see them win once.
Yeah, me either. They always
I
got
can't tell
killed.
you how many times I've been to Rockets games and seen fireworks in a losing
Yeah.
effort.
The Rockets were going to be mine, and I still think it's a shame. It's more of on a local basis, but I used to love going to the Rockets game. It's cheap. It's a baseball game. There's
Yeah.
a lot of errors.
Have you been to a Yard Goats game?
No, I haven't. But
It's amazing.
I heard it's good.
It is.
but
The
it
food
smells in Hartford.
The food is fantastic.
Just gonna get you. We're just dissing Connecticut.
The food is fantastic. The prices are not terrible for food and drink. Admission's not too bad either. I mean, Rockets were like dirt cheap.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, every school within a 20-mile radius of New Britain went to a Rockets game for a field trip. But
You bring your dog.
So actually, I have a contact from the Yard Goats, We're hopefully
Is
going
it
to
the
be.
goat himself?
It is not the goat himself. I'm hoping to meet him next time I go.
It's going to be you. You're the goat.
I am the goat.
Be
But-
dressed as the fox.
We're going to fight in the fox costume. Hopefully, we can go see a game, and perhaps we can record a show there.
That'd be cool.
Get a penthouse. Have a bunch of naked hookers.
So if you guys were down for that, I
Cocaine?
mean,
There was one time,
Lots of cocaine.
There was one time with the New Haven Ravens. I got to stand on the field for the national anthem. I remember,
Did you kneel?
No.
Good.
this is before the kneeling.
Nobody did drop a squatter on second base because he was so scared.
We got to meet the players, and I remember I was like, nah, I don't know who this guy is. You're never gonna be pro.
I was looking at-
Saying that was a little snot-nosed shit.
Well, that's why I would say the Rockets, because they had a bunch of Major League star talent. Johan Santana, David Ortiz, all played. They both played there. You knock.
I love you.
Well,
guys.
it's an
all
affiliate of the
both
Twins.
played.
Yeah. like- so we saw some pretty big names come and go.
Yeah, but in Norwich, I
mean,
saw
did-
Marcus Timms. Do you realize how famous Marcus Timms is?
Guy has boots named after him.
So,
yeah, Andy Chavez plays in Bridgeport now. So
did
I don't like the way you said
Joe Mauer
Chavez.
go through Minnesota or through
Andy
New
Chavez
Britain?
Regal.
Mauer?
Joe Mauer.
yeah, he's still in Minnesota.
Well, I just
More now.
I was gonna say that because I remember them coming up.
Dozier.
two
No,
things.
I'm
You know, on New Haven Ravens roster, you know who played for them Souls? Eric Young Sr. Can you believe that? I couldn't believe
I'm
it.
pretty sure Dimitri Young made his way somewhere in Connecticut.
Who were they affiliated with? The Ravens. I don't remember.
They weren't affiliated with anybody, were they?
Yeah, they were.
I thought they were independent.
They. Hold on.
Well, I know the New Britain Bees got Jonathan Pettibone, so they
Okay.
suck.
So
Yeah, they're independent too, though.
Yeah.
they used to be independent. From 01 to 02, they were the Cardinals. 99 to 2000 was the Mariners, and before that, 94 to 98 was the Rockies.
The Rockies.
So-
Rockies made their way back to Connecticut.
Yeah,
Nice. What a fight that must be.
and
If you ever get called up from Double-A to the majors.
now the biggest
He's
tragedy.
really griping about this hard.
It bothers me.
The biggest tragedy in Connecticut sports history was when the New Haven Ravens packed up and left to go to New Hampshire.
No!
And then
Out of the Fisher Cats,
You
man.
can't say that and mean that. The biggest tragedy for all Connecticut sports is having a beloved hockey franchise up and move to Carolina, and then they won a Stanley Cup in Carolina.
yeah, but I have a
Or when
pennant of the
UConn
Ravens in
lost
my
last
room.
year.
People should have been going to games.
Yeah, no, it's hard to argue that.
Attendance was bad. Now everyone wants to wear the logo and support.
But as the Fisher Cats, they're affiliated with the Blue Jays. So
How does that happen?
So
How do
it's
they just change affiliations? I don't. I never
it-
understood
is
that.
It's
it
like,
bidding?
it's like a contract.
yeah,
For so
You're
many
under
years.
contract as a team.
You can either renew it or
If you don't,
Somewhere?
yeah, it's
But like the players that were drafted by that team.
they're still in the same team. Like the Twins players don't play for the Rockies now. They go wherever the team is.
I got you.
so. If the
just never
Rockies
understood how
affiliate
that
team is in Arizona, why is that a private stock? He was asking a
I just
question.
didn't understand how it worked.
Well, now you do.
Why are you getting so aggressive?
Mad at him.
Why we worked in
Kyle's
your
mad.
your nocturnal emissions
You called me
for
fat
baseball.
earlier.
Kyle's mad because he tried to tell me Jeff Bagwell
He
played
was
for
on the
Boston
Red Sox.
farm system. Never played
Did
for the
he
Boston
ever
Red
play
Sox.
a game for the Boston Red Sox.
Nope.
Sorry, they got
Did he
traded for
suit
middle
up
reliever.
for the Boston Red Sox?
Played 15 seasons, all with Houston.
No, he's not a Hall of Famer. Anyways,
He is.
I had the
shouldn't
I had
that's what
the
I'm saying.
I had the privilege of playing organized sporting events with a Connecticut athlete that's big now, Andre Drummond,
Matt
That's
Harvey.
right.
Oh,
Matt Harvey, Aaron Hernandez. Andre Drummond's from Middletown, Connecticut, where I grew up, and we used to play basketball. We were on the same middle school team. We did the whole like Profcolito thing and whatnot. It was a lot of fun. I mean, much better than I am.
We should get him on the show.
We'll see what I can do. He comes home. Sometimes he comes home. I've seen him around.
I want to play him one-on-one.
that'd be fun.
Make him shoot free throws. You won't
that's
make
it.
it.
Drummond versus Bach.
This will be like my audition.
If you want
The
to see
NBA.
that, give us 400 likes.
We're still winning the 100 from last week.
We're about 100 short.
Well, Mark, you said you had some more people listed.
I had
What,
I had
for best
another one.
people?
Yeah.
Mo Vaughn.
Move on.
Ooh, Carl Pavano.
Ugh. The other one I had was Dwight Freeney. He's from Hartford.
Ugh.
I'd like to throw out one of the most badass players, professional athletes to ever come out of Connecticut. I think I'm going to get a high five from J-Mart on this one. So I'm
Joey
gonna prepare
Logano.
for Marcus Camby.
Ooh, that guy hates people.
Marcus Camby is one of the biggest gangsters to come out of Connecticut. He is just a ruthless bastard, and love him.
You know, when I was compiling this list, his name kept coming up, but I didn't know who it was.
He was a member of like that Nuggets team back when it was like Melo and like J.R. Smith, like that Nuggets
Keep in
team.
mind, he went to the Knicks after all
Right,
this.
like it was just one of those teams that like it should have been good, but it just never worked out.
It's because he kept getting ejected.
He was also part of the Thug Knicks with Latrell Sprewell.
Thug Knicks.
The Knicks have had so many great players.
Latrell Sprewell.
It's amazing how that team.
We should
never
do a
worked
show
out.
just on like ex-Knicks players.
Oh God.
Who's the
There's
point
like
guard for that
3
team?
on each team. It's ridiculous. Oh, the point guard for that team? Stephon Marbury,
Ah,
baby.
they were bad.
Or Steve Francis.
I think it was Francis.
Steve Franchise, you mean?
Franchise. There was another guy that's names on the tip of my tongue.
Now, there's a guy that J-Mart said. Now, Souls, did you claim to have faced this guy?
Matt Harvey?
Matt Harvey,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course I did.
No, you did. In 2K. Or the show.
You know, that guy always whipped my ass in the show, and I don't know why. He's like a 74 now.
He's not had the career that I think, not the one I wanted, or Mets
They
fans all
put him in the
around.
spotlight too soon.
It's because he's on the Mets.
Well, be that as it may. I mean, he's been
But you give him
injured.
the title Batman.
I
Todd
didn't give him that
Frazier's
title.
done for.
I didn't give him the
It's a
title.
shame.
It's the Dark Knight, not Batman.
The same shit.
Well, it's the movie franchise.
The same shit.
All right, so
Prove me wrong.
all right, so what's the other name for Superman? The Man of Steel.
No. Man of Dick.
All right, another
Argue with that.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, Dwight Freeney.
DeGrom's Thor, right?
No,
Syndergaard's Thor.
yeah,
Syndergaard.
I don't know if DeGrom has a.
I have
superhero.
another one as well.
What do you got?
Brian Leach
Yes.
won NHL Rookie of the Year and was a Stanley Cup champion and Stanley Cup MVP with the Rangers in '94.
What about the other Rangers player that was named Brandon Drury? I don't know if that's his first name. But he won a Little League World Series and a Stanley Cup title.
Oh, shit.
It was just funny the way you said it. Like this guy is
Chris
named-
Drury, I think it is. Not sure. I know it's Drury.
I don't know.
The bottle's in my hand. I'm just trying to think of the name.
The we're talking hockey. The other name I had, don't really like this guy a lot. Jonathan Quick.
Yeah. No, I'm not really a fan
Shane
myself.
played against him.
Yeah, our friend Shane knows
Oh,
John.
we put Shane on the list.
Yeah, Shane O'Brien.
Damn good
one of
goalie.
the SCSU's
Did he beat him?
finest. I believe so. I mean, I don't know how the goalies beat other goalies, but yeah, he beat them.
It's just because Shane stayed small and Quick kind of grew.
But I mean, Quick's been in the NHL 11 seasons now. .916 save percentage. Has won 2 Stanley Cups, Conn Smythe, and the William Jennings Trophy. He's having a pretty good career. That guy. I don't like him.
Look. Oh, you're,
I would say this one by no means great in any way.
Ron Baker.
Ex New Orleans Saint and current Chicago Bear John Jenkins. Remember
Repping
that
Meriden.
Yeah.
Meriden
Big special
connection.
teams guy, yeah, from Meriden.
Big guy.
Yeah,
Big John. Big John.
Big John.
What's his? He was on the Lions, I believe. Spivey.
Oh, yeah. Amari.
Junior Spivey.
He was from
Amari.
Connecticut, isn't he?
Yeah.
I
We've
was
left that too. Rebecca Lobo. I mean,
She's got a
Brother
long head.
worked out with
Amari.
Junior Spivey.
Amari.
you call him Junior Spivey,
Amari Spivey.
Junior
Junior
Spivey.
played baseball.
but your
Nah.
brother knows him, right?
Yeah.
Then they work out at the same gym or something.
Yeah.
No, they don't. It
was
was
an
LA
LA
Fitness.
Wreck that.
we've also left out an NBA Sixth Man of the Year and back-to-back NBA champion.
Bobby Jones.
LeBron James.
No,
I don't know who it is.
Oh, wait.
let me blow up his stats one more time for you. One-time NBA Sixth Man of the Year award, 2-time NBA champion, voted most likely to overdose at a club after f***ing a Kardashian, Lamar Odom.
You know, that all sounded like Norris Cole until you said Lamar
Lamar
Odom.
Odom's from Connecticut.
Yeah, Lamar Odom's from New Britain.
Isn't was it Ray Allen too? Doesn't he?
I mean, he's from Queens, New York, but he went to high school in New Britain.
Isn't Ray Allen from here?
No, Ray Allen lives in Connecticut.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Ray Allen's not from Connecticut. He lives in Connecticut now. He actually, in Middletown, used to be an old bookstore for Wesleyan. Their lease went up on it, and Ray Allen and his wife bought it up, and it's like one of those local, like grow to your own type of produce and vegetables.
Community garden?
Yeah, community garden.
Herbs.
Herbs and spices. A lot of people.
Insinuating nothing.
We're forgetting about Bruce Jenner.
Get the.
Yeah, Kyle was talking about this.
That's not her name.
Who cares? It was Bruce at the time.
Bruce at the time.
It's going to go down a rabbit hole.
So next guy.
We talk sports,
We
not
also,
difficult
we also
issues.
forgot Kendall's two brothers, Jordan and David Reed.
Yes, I was surprised to find Jordan Reed on the list.
Why? You live in Connecticut. Your family's from Connecticut.
Right. Well, I thought he moved away when I was young. You know,
But he'd still be from Connecticut.
It was before I was born.
His name was Chris Drury, by the way.
Hey, guys. George Springer.
That's probably the
It was-
greatest.
it
Kyle's
was funny.
opinion, I'm pretty sure.
We were talking about this before, and I said, I
Kristen
know
Orfia.
Jeff's going to bring him up.
Kristen Orfia.
Brad Osmus
Brad Osmus.
from Cheshire. Wait.
Stone's throw from where we live in Wallingford.
Played
Stones.
I'd like to give a shout out to one athlete from Connecticut. This isn't a major sporting event. This guy's actually a Brazilian like martial art like guru type of guy, but he might be the most well named person to come out of Connecticut for athletes. His name is Glover Teixeira.
That's an awesome name.
Yeah,
He's
There
a
was
big
another
boy.
player on the Rangers. I think he was from Avon. Is it Sean Avery?
yeah.
I believe he was from Connecticut.
Was Josh Hamilton or am I?
I don't
He
think
probably just bought his goods here. You know what I mean?
Kendall's favorite coach of all time from Connecticut, Bobby Valentine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a string of
Paul's favorite coach of all time is from Connecticut, Tom Thibodeau.
really?
Doug Thibodeau.
That's right, Tom Thibodeau, owner of the Tisdale Thibodeau. Ashland.
My favorite
Tisdale.
coach is from Connecticut. Sitting right next to me. Coach Annis.
Coach Annis. The world's going to meet Coach Annis soon.
Well, picking up that, so, you know, because we talked a lot about the players. We got other stuff we talked about too, but who's your favorite player of all time from Connecticut? We talked about best, but who's your favorite player of all time from Connecticut? We said a lot of names, so it's got to be family tied.
Yeah, it's probably got to be my non-affiliated brother. No, it's not. Be a homer. I'll be Matt Harvey. I have his shirt, so it's got to show some sort of care.
Not your cousin, Aaron Hernandez?
No relation.
You can't prove that.
Technically, I can't.
Souls, what about you? Who's your favorite player
Steve
from Connecticut?
3 times Super Bowl champion.
Probably former Seattle Supersonic Vin Baker.
Mock?
Mine would probably be Dwight Freeney.
He's a reach.
I always liked him, watching him play. He was good.
What's wrong with Vin, dude?
A lot, Kyle. There's a lot wrong.
He works at a
Is
Starbucks.
yours Marcus Camby?
I'm struggling to remember. There was a really, really bad guy on the UConn men's team that everyone joked about.
Jeremy Lamb.
No, he was like the white power forward.
Oh, Josh Boone?
No, oh my God, no.
I actually found him.
Or what about the ugliest NBA player, the only guy that can give Dennis Rodman a run for his money, Charlie Villanueva? Sorry
More-
for
it was
listening.
more recent.
Love you.
I can't remember his name. Olander.
Tyler Olander.
Tyler Olander.
Gross.
He was so bad.
No, it's Kemba.
I don't even know how.
And
he
then
got
Camby.
minutes.
So mine's kind of a stretch because this guy, he lived in Connecticut kind of like during the younger part of his childhood,
Young.
but he was born in Rhode Island and went to high school in Arizona. But he lived in Connecticut,
Desert?
and he was a
Must have been
whatever
a pitcher.
whatever All-American or whatever for the Norwich Little League team. Paul Konerko
Ooh.
lived in Norwich. That's
I
why I
didn't
didn't
know
throw him
that.
on my great list because I mean he wasn't born in Connecticut and he didn't go to high school in Connecticut. It's sort of brief time where his parents were like, "Hey, let's in Connecticut for a little while and then go to Arizona,
Hey, well, Rhode Island, it's a stone's throw away from Connecticut.
jump, hop, and a skip."
So I have another question for you guys. Of the 4 major sports, if a team were to move to Connecticut, which one do you think would have the most success? So if you like, I would lead off.
Well, I want to see Machine lead off because he was shaking his head no.
I don't think a professional sports team could last here.
Well, if you would have,
No,
pick
no,
the
that
best.
no, that's an answer. I like that answer.
All right,
That's an answer.
all right.
Why?
We're between the two biggest sports markets in the country. You're between Boston and New York.
Well, hold on.
New
I don't know-
Jersey
I don't know about the
guy.
two biggest. One biggest. I don't think Boston's the second biggest sports market in the country. I don't think so.
I mean,
You
you
got
can
a lot of
argue it
championships,
is.
So.
Yeah, they have a lot of championships, but LA has a lot of championships.
Yeah, they also got a lot of plastic people.
I mean, but I mean, I don't really know how they would base it off of it, but I mean, they got more teams. They probably have just as many championships.
More Vine famous people.
Very true. Boston doesn't have a GTA map on it. LA does.
He's got a point.
Just saying.
I don't think a professional sports team would last here. There just isn't enough to go around. You're between the two major cities.
Souls?
There's enough traffic on
well-
the highways as is.
I
Red
think
Baron? Mirror?
a basketball team would succeed. Now,
I also feel the same way.
my reasoning is so I feel like basketball is the fastest growing sport for fanship, if that's a word. And I think people, if a team were to come to Connecticut, the growing NBA fans would flock to a new team rather than football team or baseball team where fans have been established
There's no
families
loyalty
forever.
in a lot of fan bases.
Well-
I hate to say it, but
When you think like my whole family are Yankee fans, or my whole team has been Celtics fans forever.
Well, basketball is more of like a favorite player type sport.
It's true.
A lot of people are like LeBron
Which I
fans.
hate.
now don't get me
I
wrong, though,
hate-
there are still diehard fans. So I'm not shitting on the entire fan
I
base, but
hate that.
you take people like
You can love a player. but
LeBron.
you love your
fans.
team for-
LeBron
right.
fans started it, and now everyone's on the
It's
Warriors.
Dwayne Wade, Steph Curry. Like that's their
It's
team
terrible.
until they leave.
It's true. There are tons of players that I love. Dwayne Wade being one of them. Dwayne Wade and Vince Carter are probably my two favorite players that aren't currently Bulls. But I'm never ever going to cheer for them over I'm going to cheer for Chicago. I don't care how bad Chicago is. It's never going to happen.
I agree, though, with basketball. I don't think the other sports could thrive. Basketball, I mean, the Knicks, they're a stoic franchise, but they're not that good. Boston, this is the first year where people are actually saying, hey, they have a chance at the finals. The Nets, the Nets. But I mean, like,
Forgot all
UConn's
about the
huge
Nets.
basketball here. In New York, a lot of the young guys come from New York. Hartford, too, there's a lot of good basketball
Well,
players.
a big thing for basketball too is it's very unlikely it'll happen given the amount of players that are playing college and go pro, and then how many pro teams there are. But I mean, just think of a Kemba Walker being drafted by the Hartford whatever,
Exactly.
and
Oh,
Kemba's
yeah.
the starting point guard for
The jersey sales would be insane.
people would lose their minds.
Think about
People would be all about it.
Get the Atlanta Hawks out of Atlanta, the Hartford Hawks.
I like
Perfect
it.
alliteration.
Or what if we do a collab owner and it's the Hartford Hookers? It could be a brewery owned team.
I'm with that.
Or it can just have hookers. Either way, I'm good for all
We
things.
buy an NBA team. Bring them to Hartford. XL Center.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: if I buy a team, I'm playing for them.
All right.
I'm suiting
Well,
up.
No one else is going to want to play for the Hartford Hookers except maybe Dirk.
Dirk is playing for the
I mean,
Hartford Hookers.
that's the problem, though. He's loyal. But I mean, we're bribing him with beer.
Well, hold on. What if we do a G League team?
What about a B League for beer?
Beer and
league.
hookers.
We play nobody, no games.
This is
Shoot
sounding.
around and drink around.
We need to meet up with the people from South Park and see if we can get this going. Basketball for real. Souls, what about you?
I think hockey
Ditto.
would be successful in Connecticut.
Yeah, I think it would again.
I just feel like everybody wants it back, and once we get it back, I feel like they don't want to lose it. So people are going to go to all the games. People are going to be fans of the team. I just feel like hockey would be rejoiced in
once.
Connecticut.
Shame on me.
That's fair.
Twice.
That's a good point.
Shame on Souls.
But it has to be the Whalers.
You would
Yeah,
have to name it.
I agree. I think it'd be weird if a team came back like, "Hey, we're the Nutmeggers, and we're gonna really blow your mind."
The Naugatuck Nutmeggers.
Here's Nelson the Nutmegger. Free sock night at the arena.
Good.
It's gotta,
God.
it's gotta be the Whalers. Anything else is just stupid. So is it gonna be all right? It's free sock night tomorrow.
I know you would go.
Of course they would.
You're one of your favorite things in the entire
Oh
world.
man,
Well, you lost a good pair of socks at your house.
I agree with the NHL. The NHL is much more exciting now than it was when the Whalers were around. I think attendance was a bit of an issue, but the bigger issue as to why the Whalers left was lack of corporate sponsorship.
Yes.
And Connecticut has got much more going on for it now and can get that type of corporate sponsorship. And it doesn't have to be from just Connecticut. It can be from other things, Rhode Island, whatever. But like we said, the fans want to see a team back. And with hockey, because I don't think baseball wouldn't work. I just don't think it would work. I think basketball and hockey would be your best bets because it's a longer, more in-depth season with more games. And if you were to put a hockey team in Hartford or wherever in Connecticut, you have this huge map of teams not too far away. You got the Bruins, the Rangers, the Islanders, the Sabres, the Flyers, and the Devils. All a 2 to 3 hour drive away, and people will make that drive to go see their team. We're going to drive 2 hours to go see the Sixers. I mean, people will drive 2 hours
the Hornets,
to go see.
to see the Hornets.
I'm saying I'm really only
see
going
a couple Pelicans there.
I'm really only going in hopes that Michael Jordan's going to get in a fist fight with Joel Embiid over popcorn. But
I want the cheesesteak.
I think
get one, bro.
I think if anything would happen, I think it'd be an NHL franchise.
Yeah.
I do. I think it's a lot more exciting now. It's a lot more fast paced. It's higher scoring, and I think it has the ability to be successful.
What could be
now.
incredible is like you see like the Vegas Knights. If that was to happen in Hartford, then I think it would explode.
Well, the other problem too is so the Whalers were part of the WHA, I think it was, and then they became an NHL team. And when they made the jump from WHA to NHL, they didn't have the success they had in WHA. They were lights out in WHA. They were winning. And when they came, I think they only mustered up like a handful of winning seasons. They made like 6 or 7 playoff appearances, only winning like 1 or 2 series. Like their nickname was Forever 500 as a franchise. Like it's tough, but like I said, I mean, look at the Vegas Knights.
Well, here's the other thing too. What other cities would the NHL welcome?
Seattle. That's kind of the front.
That's what the
runner.
NBA is going. You're going to have to deal with Seattle. That's been in the talks for how long now?
It's the front.
Pretty
and-
much since Oklahoma
Well,
came. They're saying Seattle wants a team again.
Well, Seattle's the best bet for NHL too because there's nothing else out there.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Vancouver. But I mean, for American soil, there's nothing else out there. The closest thing out there, the closest team to them is probably, it might be the Vegas Golden Knights now. Maybe the Kings and
Say the Kings.
But I think LA's further south than
I think so.
Vegas. So. But I mean, Vegas to Seattle, that's not like you can just drive that for a game. That's an overnight trip. So, I mean, Seattle, I mean, there was talks about Houston for a while, too, because the guy who owns the Rockets said that he would not say no to an NHL franchise.
A true hockey team.
I just don't know. I don't know if you can muster enough interest to have 2 hockey teams in Texas.
It's a good point.
I think hockey, though. That's my guess. Hockey.
I like that.
And baseball's too expensive.
Yeah, well, it's
Like
You have two-
baseball would absolutely
With the
never
Red Sox
work.
and Yankees right there.
and
No
like
offense to the Mets.
paying for the
No,
ballpark.
Just that
Please,
rivalry, the
I
history,
understand.
Like no one's going to give 2 shits about a Connecticut team.
Well, that's the thing, though, is the potential for it would be if it were an NL team, there'd be the potential. Because then you have, if it's an NL team, you have that potential to build that rivalry over time with the Mets.
It'll be everybody's second favorite team.
Yeah.
I think
They would
the
go to
Mets,
those games to see their favorite teams.
The Mets should move. The Meriden Mets. You know, the Mets are defending
Where are you
2
going to
NL
put the field?
And what's the thing? So that's
The airport. We'll just get rid of the Expos was
demolish
played
the
there.
airport.
Get rid of the
Well, so
Markham
that's-
Airport or whatever it's
The
called.
dump, the landfill. Just
Yeah, get
level
rid
all
of
that
it.
out. It'll take about 6 years.
I say just slap a couple bases in there
It's
and let
funny
them
you
go.
say that, though, Kyle, because like,
just have
if
the
you were to
planes
do
flying over.
an NFL team, just wouldn't work here.
No.
End of story. But NBA and NHL, you can have something like that. Like the Civic Center wouldn't work. They'd have to build a new stadium because the Civic
Yeah.
Center just doesn't have the capacity that they would
Build
need.
one bigger, like the Accord Center.
The Accord Center. But like, so they need like maybe the Pilot Center,
Pilots.
the Ridgeline Center. But something like baseball, if they were to do baseball here, the only way it would work is they would have to do something kind of like what Rentschler Field is for UConn. It would have to be a field that's kind of like in the podunks. Like, you couldn't put a Major League Baseball field in Hartford, especially not with the Yard Goats field there.
No, you just couldn't.
Needs space.
It'd be interesting, though. I think a hockey team could thrive here. What amazes me is that Maine doesn't have an NHL team. The they got going on up there besides Moose and like 14 black people and like 300 popular breweries.
Paper.
No, lobsters.
You're listening in Maine with
Zero.
Okay, perfect. This is what we said. All right. It's cold. They've got a lot of really good breweries up there. Lobster rolls. Would you like to bundle up and drink a nice craft beer while eating a hot, buttery lobster roll?
Absolutely.
Watching a hockey game?
Yes, I would.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably do that on the toilet, but I would definitely like to do
You're
it
going to
watching
be
a hockey
cold
game.
doing that anyway. You might as well watch hockey.
That's what I'm saying.
Good points.
I could eat a lobster roll right now.
I hate lobsters.
Yep, let's get out of here.
Go to Chuck's Lobster Roll Emporium.
We're going to the diner.
Oof.
Nice diner lobster roll.
Frozen lobster imitation.
Do they even have lobster?
Shut up,
Yeah, they
Kyle.
do. It's called cat. Buttered cat.
Lobster comes in a shoebox.
Dun, dun, dun.
Kyle, did you like the show? You could be honest. Was it fun?
It was fun.
Yeah.
So you hated it?
Yeah, it was fun.
Steve Young.
Steve Young better than everyone else.
Well, the thing is, like I said, Kyle really wanted to talk about spring training, but we got a lot of spring training left, and when we go live, we're going to have more time and a better format to talk about
More time.
current events, things going on now, plus stuff like this, like fun, unique, original GSWD material.
Give it the D.
GSWD. Give her the D.
Oh, my.
It's just another one of our great radio slogans we've come up with. WDIC, the penis. That'll always be the greatest. But, well, real quick, we'll go around the horn. We got some time?
Yeah.
We got some time. Now, we've all been to events, Connecticut sporting events, right? Like whatever, Sound Tigers games or Rockets, Yard Goats, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
If you have one, I know Mock said something about the girl losing her teeth or standing on the field. Do you have a favorite moment, something that like really sticks with you from a game? It could be ridiculous. It could be something actually pretty cool. But do you have
I actually have another one.
what do you got?
We used to go to a lot of New Haven Ravens games with like the Wallingford Little League, and at one point, all three of my coaches, I think including my dad, were sitting in one of the bleachers. And the whole bleachers fell over. And they all fell. And I remember, like, staff from the Ravens came over and gave them, like, everything for free. And they were just pretty much like, please don't sue us.
That's awesome.
That was really funny.
So I worked for a group of radio stations, and for one of the stations, I have to get in a mascot costume. So I got to be in the mascot costume and like dance around on the ice in Bridgeport for the Sound Tigers game.
On the ice?
On the ice.
And you didn't fall?
That was the first time I've ever been in the ice in general. I've never been ice skating in my life. First time was
Were
inside
you on
of...
skates or do they have you on
No, just whatever the big flat
padded
rubber
shoes,
shoes. First time on ice inside a costume. It was awesome. I
Souls?
almost fell.
Souls?
Did you win?
Well, I didn't do anything. I was just dancing around like, yeah!
Oh. It was probably when I saw Ryan Howard hit a home run against the Rockets. I don't really have
You say
any.
How many
Against-
times did he strike out that game?
Against the
He was like
Rockets?
23.
This is a pro Connecticut
He
show.
was in the prime. He didn't strike out that game. He had like 3 dingers.
I went to a game, watched him strike out 5 times in one game.
Yeah, he played the
I
Angels. What do you
watched
want?
Eric almost get ejected from the stadium because he struck out looking.
Yes, we did. Vlad hit 3 dingers that game.
Yeah.
Paul?
I'm gonna wait on mine.
Jeff?
Good. I have a really good bonding moment with my father.
Oh, hookers.
I must have been... I'm trying to think how old I was. I was old enough to know what I saw. We were walking to the concession stands. We're at the bottom of the stairs. This blonde woman, white dress. The wind caught it just right. We saw it all.
Wow. Saw Marilyn Monroe that day.
You know, Kendo was at that game.
Rockets.
I
You
was
looked gorgeous.
I was the dress.
Did you go already?
I did. I was when I was in the costume on the ice.
Oh, I didn't even hear it. Mine's tough.
Upskirt.
Skirt.
Oh,
my. So mine's tough. I had a similar event to like what you had. We went to my mom's company often did like picnics at the Rockets games. And we had like a cookout during like the first inning or two of the game, and then we watched the rest of it, like, you know, kind of towards the outfield, and then we watched the rest of the game from the stands. And my mom's boss, her husband, we were all sitting in the line, and he took a foul ball right to the eye and blew his eye socket out right there in the crowd. The guy just gets up, his eyes like swollen and bleeding. It was immaculate. But I think one of the best instances I ever had was when I was, it was 12. I had snatched a lot of, my family was hard liquor drinkers, so I had, you know, the samplings of hard liquor, you know, oh, what's this? My first beer came when I was 11 or 12, and it was at a Wolfpack game, and there was a huge fight, and the penalty boxes were next to each other, and the guy climbed over the glass into the other penalty box again to keep fighting, and the fans were like going nuts and everything, and they were like there were beers getting thrown, and people were like smashing the glass, and it was like so hyped up, it was awesome, and it was like so electric, and I got hit right in the face with a beer. Because I turned around and a cup of beer hit me right in the face, and I got to taste Coors Light, or what I think it was Coors Light. I'm trying to remember.
That was urine.
No. You have to urinate in the blue cups at the Wolfpack games. Those are for blue. What? What do you want from me, everybody? Everybody's staring at me. Private stock for everybody. Souls, lead it off.
Around the horn.
Well,
Listen to that.
might not have been our best show,
Yeah, I thought Kyle fell asleep.
but it was our most local show.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I said, all the beers were CT made. All the cocaine on the show was made fresh in Connecticut, hand cut. I believe all the bowls that will be packed after the show are all local grown marijuana.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It's funny. People listening like, these guys are serious. They're not joking.
Oh yeah.
Kyle, what's your favorite thing about Connecticut? It doesn't have to be sports related. What's your favorite thing about Connecticut?
You guys.
Oh.
Can
Really?
we get like?
Swear to God.
Can we go back when we had it? Just have like the aww, like from all the Nickelodeon shows.
All right, so we have to end that with it. We can't, and nobody else can say anything. It just that was awesome. Good job, Kyle. Proud of you.
I just don't care about anything else but you guys.
That's not true. If you had to pick between hanging out with us,
And a sleeve of dip.
no.
Well, hold on.
So
What are we talking
you
about?
either only get to see us once a year, or you get to meet Troy Polamalu.
What I would not meet Troy Polamalu.
You sure?
Yeah,
What if he let you put shampoo in his hair?
I've gone 24 years without him.
You don't think you go 24 without us?
No, I can't even go like 3 days without you guys.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Except Monk, you can go right now.
Is that because you were wrong about Jeff Bagwell?
I wasn't
Kyle?
wrong. We all did one.
I did too.
You didn't do it again.
What?
Do it again.
No.
Well, Kendall, what's your favorite thing about
We
Connecticut?
did it round the horn. You have to do it.
I already did.
I like the food that's available to have here.
I'm pretty sure every fast food chain you can get in Connecticut, you can get anywhere
Well, we have
else.
some cool local spots.
Do we have
Wow.
sheets?
What, Roof 5?
She's-
Burger King?
That's not what I'm saying.
So you're talking about things like Blackies,
Blackies in
Knuckleheads?
Chowder Pot,
What do they call
Lenny's?
that?
Waterbury.
Lenny's.
Fast food.
It's in Waterbury.
Lenny's Cafe.
Lenny's
Blackies is
Cafe
in
in
Waterbury.
Wallingford.
Blackies is in
Not that
Waterbury.
Knuckleheads.
Blackies in Waterbury.
Pretty sure it's in Waterbury. It's in an old fire station.
Ray and Mike's.
Ray and Mike's in
A lot of good sub
Cheshire,
shops.
Southampton.
You got Maggie McFly's.
Ooh, that's true.
Marty McFly's.
Shut the up.
J. Timothy's.
Yeah, I went there the other night.
Yeah, did you eat the bucket of wings?
I did not.
Yeah, Kendall and I ate the bucket of wings by ourselves.
Nice.
Yeah, you couldn't do that.
Tables,
You
chairs,
couldn't
and
do
I had a
buildings.
burger.
What about you, Mark? What's your favorite thing about Connecticut?
I'm not sure.
It's a really weird question.
I like
You
the
don't
taxes. No.
ask. How dare
Mark is going to be the governor of Connecticut in 3 days.
I hope not. I don't know. I mean, it's the only place I've ever lived, so it's just kind of all I know.
you?
So nothing. Nothing is the
I
answer.
don't know what my favorite thing about Connecticut is.
January, what about you?
I don't know.
You know mine is?
It's a weird question.
So for me, it's the New England, like, I don't know the right word, like the quirks, like the things that New Englanders say and do, because I've lived elsewhere. I've lived in the Midwest and I've lived in the South. And so coming up here, I'll never forget the first first week I lived here, my mom and I had moved in, and we were out doing something in the yard or whatever, and a guy pulled up, and he rolled down the window, and he goes to my mom, "Where's the closest package store?" So my mom says to him, "Oh, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go down the road, take a left, take a right, and that's where the post office is." And the guy looks at her, very confused, and goes, "No, like for beer." And she goes, What kind of post office sells beer?" Package store is not a thing. That's so stupid.
That's hilarious.
That is the dumbest thing. When I moved here, we heard that it's
Liquor store.
it's a liquor store. It's a liquor store or a beer store. It's not
It's a packy run.
I never understood.
because they wrap it up in the brown bags to look like packages.
okay.
That's the whole reason where it came from. But it's
Prohibition.
stupid. Just like sprinkles. Sprinkles. They're called Jimmies.
Shots.
The majority
I never heard of that.
the majority of this country calls them Jimmies.
You know what else gets called Jimmy's?
I call them
I think-
sprinkles.
Say Connecticut
Rubber
sprinkles.
But I will say, I think one of my two favorite things about Connecticut would be Dunkin' Donuts, because that's pretty awesome. Big fan of the dark roast. 3 milks, 2 sugars.
Shout out.
But then I'm also a big fan of how there's I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but if you've been driving to Bradley Airport, you get off 91 there, and there's that long kind of highway extension.
Bobby V's.
No, we're not going. There's this huge field on the left that's got to be like, I can't even begin to think how many acres it is, but it's all tobacco. That's what they grow there. And those tobacco fields are some of the most expensive tobacco leaves that you can buy in North America. It's like the most rare soil in North America to grow tobacco leaves in. It's just some fucking bullshit-ass place next to some bullshit-ass airport in Connecticut
Hey, Bobby V's is
that
over
grows
there.
the
Be
most
careful.
expensive cigar leaves in all of North America.
Well, I'm going over there tomorrow.
For what?
Just
How?
to steal all the tobacco. First of all, dick. They didn't know that.
I'll stop that way, champ.
I'm gonna steal all the tobacco. Ugh.
You know what, on a real note, what's cool? We have a beach. It's not as cool as other beaches, but you can drive to New York, you could drive to Boston, you could go to Rhode Island.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia's not too far. I mean,
It's a pretty well serviced area type of
we
thing.
got a lot of everything in Connecticut.
It's
A
very
lot of
true.
bullshit, too, but
Yeah.
a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, like imagine living in like Des Moines, Iowa. It's like, oh,
Got a lot
hey,
of
you want to go to the city
aquariums.
for the day? No, we have to go for the week.
Yeah.
We have a sub base.
Yeah, we got aquariums. We got what do we got? We got 2 aquariums.
Submarine base.
Yeah, we got a submarine base, 2
I
aquariums,
don't
a
know if this
zoo.
is still there.
Lake compounds?
Subbase is cool.
I'll have you know that Bristol houses the Carousel Museum, and I think it's Waterbury has the Time Museum.
We have 50 Cent.
That's true.
right.
The Undertaker. WWE headquarters.
Mariano Rivera.
Lake
Lives here.
We got a
Son
pretty
sucks.
we got a pretty good state.
ESPN.
You know what? We got some pretty good beer.
Shout out to ESPN. Why don't you guys pick us all up?
You get laid off.
Like tomorrow.
Well, there goes all our hopes.
Thanks for listening. This is our last show. Where can they find us, Makshi Washable?
In Connecticut.
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Getting Sports with Drunk. Twitter is GSWD_4.
Make sure to use the hashtag GSWD for all your daily uses, whether it's being homegrown from Connecticut or not knowing where Jeff Bagwell played professional baseball.
Be sure to subscribe on Podbean and iTunes. And we're on the Lieb Sports Network every morning from 7 to 8 a.m. And for one more week until we go live, we're on the PPRN radio network from 12 to 1 p.m.
That's right, March 4th.
Mark it.
PPRN Radio Network. Download the app, go on the website, Facebook, whatever you got to do. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Getting Sports with Drunk is live. Unadulterated.
And in color.
Uncut.
And inconsiderate.
That should be our slogan. I like that.
Uncut and inconsiderate.
But before we sign off, beer reviews. Local Connecticut beer reviews. Solzi, Mojito, Gilberto. What do you got?
You know, I wasn't knocking on heaven's door for this one. Wasn't that great?
It wasn't juicy.
Hey, I had to come up with a good pun. It's been a while.
It wasn't a good pun. If you sang it, yes.
Maksheen?
The I used to really like the Crankies a lot, but I mean it's not bad. I think Stony Creek's done better since.
It's so funny because when we were talking about the Red Baron here and I were talking about what beers to get for tonight, and he goes, "Oh, I know Mock just like raves about anything Stony Creek, so I'm just going to get him anything from
Here's the
there."
thing, I like
and
Stony
he picks
Creek
out the one
beers.
that Mock's like, "I'm not crazy about it."
I used to really like them, but like they've made much better things since.
It's kind of like Kyle. I used to really like Kyle. Then you meet new people. Nah, I'm just kidding, Kyle. You suck.
Well, this will be the last time you hear of Jeff. He'll be dead after the show.
So, J-Mart, beer review then.
I love the Persian Lime Ghost.
Part of the Tanker Truck series.
The heartburn, I don't, but what can you do?
It's a year-round beer now. For those,
I'm excited about
for
that.
the CT local drinkers, the Tanker Truck series has been a seasonal item over the past year, and now we got the Tanker Truck series is now the passion fruit and the Persian lime are year-round 4-pack pint cans, and they're actually, I hope Jamie isn't listening. If he is, I'm sorry, Jamie, but I have insider information that the next Tanker Truck beer coming out from Two Roads is going to be a Sauvignon Blanc grape sour.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Hot damn!
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know what that means.
Red Baron.
I have the Imperial Stout Trooper from Nebco. Excellent
Always
stout.
a good call.
I enjoy it room temp. I enjoy it cold. For you stout fans out there, get yourself a can when available.
All right.
Is it available all the time? I thought it was once a year.
It is, but that was just get a can when available.
That was a good pitch.
Yeah.
It's not available right now. That's why I said it that way.
From Shabine in Wolcott, Connecticut, the Java Pig Stout. Big fan. Coffee bacon breakfast stout. Now, I don't know, like, I'm not usually a big fan of like the weird brewing things, like weird food additives, things like bacon, like, there's oyster stouts out there, stuff like that. It's just, it's nothing to do with the grossness of it. It's just like, there's no room for it in beer, in my opinion. I didn't really get a lot of bacon. I got a lot of salt in the beginning, kind of like a first.
Like a bacon.
Yeah. But as it went on, I didn't really get any bacon. The coffee notes were there. It was pretty light, though. It's only 6%. Easy drinking stout. Big fan.
Now it's odd because Sheben usually makes a lot of like.
I like Shabine, though. Shabine's better.
Either way, they make a lot of not good beer.
Well, in your opinion.
Yeah, a lot of it's not that good.
I mean, the same could be said for Stony Creek.
Hey, you're right.
No, is it Sheben or Shabine?
I think it's Sheben.
But how would it be Sheben? There's 2 E's.
I don't know. I've just always heard Sheben.
I think it's Shabine. We're going to have to consult the beer gods on this one. Souls, what do you think? Is it Sheben or Sheben? Shabine. Look at the can. What do you think?
Sheben.
Sheben.
You're gonna ask him.
Souls has spoken. Well, it's been a fantastic voyage thus far through however many, what do we have, 40 something shows?
I think this is
39.
39.
39. So 39 shows of a lot of work of editing and bleeping out curse words. And
The next time you hear us, it's gonna be live.
Yeah.
You'll be able to see us.
On our 40th anniversary.
the next time you guys, after this Sunday, the next time you hear us, instead of hearing a bleep, you're going to hear and it's going to be fantastic.
There's been a few that snuck through.
Oh yeah, well there's sometimes it's just so hard for editing, especially because like
People
we don't really have
talking.
the program for it. If you and I are talking at the same time and I say
I think it's hilarious.
oh, I love it too. I love the amount of times just like inadvertently dropped it. But we're very excited to go live. We're very excited. We hope you guys can get on the Facebook live feed. We'll get that going.
For
At
those
PPRN,
people,
get people calling in. We're gonna have guests.
We're gonna get jiggy with the fan.
Get jiggy with the fan.
for everyone that's been there since episode 1,
Or
stay with
7.
us.
Yeah.
Or
Stuff's
7
happening.
When I started. It was 7 or 8.
Well,
If you'd like to donate money,
Give us your funds.
Give me your wallet.
For 10 cents a day.
No. We do have a GoFundMe up. No, I'm just kidding. We don't. We don't.
Souls
condone
rinsing on GoFundMe. It's to buy him all the shampoo. Just all.
that. No conditioner.
Souls, do you condition?
No? Who cares about that?
Exactly.
Do you use shampoo or do you put like bar
You just
soap in your
put
hair?
soap.
Shampoo.
body wash.
Imagine you have like a thing
It's
of
like
like the
dish
hand
detergent.
soap. You have like a thing of the hand soap, the soft gel, like just coconut.
Just got a thing of Dove.
Takes a Tide Pod, just slaps it against his chest.
I eat them.
All right.
Well, from all of us here at Getting Sports with Drunk, we look forward to you listening to us live in 2 weeks' time, March 4th.
March 4th.
March 4th on March 4th.
Until
March
then,
4th.
until then,
March 4th.
I'm your hostess, Cupcake the Riddler.
March 4th.
I'm Mock.
Sheen Washable.
Nope.
I'm Milwaukee.
I'm J-Mark.
Changing up the name.
And I'm the Red Baron.
Yeah.